I am now. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Well, City Life. I'm Linda Bown. I'm your host. I have my town manager, Colin Loiselle, on this morning, and we were just talking about Lake Muscoppic and some of the issues with the jet skis not on the Tyngsborough side, except that we're absorbing all the issues with it. And it's both, that lake and Long Pond, Muscatpick, we share with Drake. So you don't have the total control. And Long Pond's even worse, because you have Drake and Pelham and maybe a touch of Hudson in there.
Yeah.
So it's just sort of like out of control.
And the Lake Muscatpick one is a little bit exacerbated because I think 90% of the lake is in Tyngsborough. The only part that's in Drake is the small swimming area, and of course the state-owned boat ramp where everybody's getting on and creating very dangerous conditions on that lake.
And everybody's trying. I mean, all the businesses there, the boat is trying. Everybody's got no parking.
And you called the Registry of Motor Vehicles.
I'm not called the Registry of Motor Vehicles. We had a meeting last week at the beach with Drake-It, the environmental police, and
who from Drake-It showed?
The assistant town manager and their deputy police chief.
Shows you how important you are. Assistant town manager.
It's slightly unique because their assistant town manager was our assistant town manager, so we have a little bit of a relationship.
Great.
The real issue, and I have no problem saying this, I've said it several times now, it is access to the state-owned boat ramp. The state has a boat ramp there because it's a great pond. There's a state agency called the Office of Fishing and Boating Access within the Division of Fish and Game, which is within the Environmental and Energy Cabinet, and they maintain access to the boat ramp, which is not a problem, except that the boat ramp is being overrun Fridays through Sundays with out-of-town jet skiers who have nothing to lose, and so they're acting recklessly. And because 90% of the lake is in Tyngsborough, anytime a call comes in to 911 because, one of the incidents, people were playing bumper jet skis, they were throwing glass bottles at each other.
Oh, my God.
Those calls come to Tyngsborough, even though, they're getting on in Drake-It. And so both Drake-It and Tyngsborough have limited resources. The Massachusetts Environmental Police have been fantastic. They brought, on July 1st, the governor appointed a new colonel of the Environmental Police, and he came to Drake-It and Tyngsborough for this meeting. What we'd like the state to do is allow Drake-It, which they have a land management agreement that lets them do this, with approval of the state, to charge a daily access pass for those 7 boat trailer parking spots. That would allow them to pay someone to monitor the boat ramp, and once those 7 spots are filled, no additional watercraft on the water until one frees up. That solves your overcrowded parking, that solves the overcrowding on the lake, and if there's somebody at the gate, it allows us to say, okay, well, Colin, you've been kicked off the lake now because you were playing bumper jet skis. You can't come back. Right now, we've got no enforcement mechanism. The state.
So where's the boat ramp?
It's going to be right next to the location for the boat at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, right here.
Yeah. So that's a private business, the boat.
Yeah.
You can see the beach now where the sand is. And right where it says public launch is a ramp that's maintained by the Office of Fishing and Boating Access for the state.
Okay. So the Registry of Motor Vehicles, last time I checked, your jet ski is going to be registered.
So they do. There's nothing prohibiting out-of-state registered jet skis, and what I'm told, I'm not a boater, but what people on the lake and what our police chief has told me is that all of these are being registered in New Hampshire because it's easier to register.
No sales tax.
Exactly. So
But even if they're registered in New Hampshire, they still have to be registered.
correct.
And some people don't bother registering. They don't bother keeping. They just have the numbers on the side of the jet ski. It mean nothing.
Right. When we're out there, we were fortunate enough, the Lake Association donated to the town a few years ago now a boat, and so we formed a marine unit within the Tyngsborough Police Department. And when we're out there, we're running numbers to make sure.
What do you got? What kind of a craft do we have?
We actually just got a new one. Last year they donated, it's a smaller boat.
But you need a jet ski.
I'm sure our officers would love a jet ski.
Come on now.
I'm sure our officers would love a jet ski. The problem we're running into is the environmental police regulations require you have 2 officers on a boat now. We're at a point, we've got 2 officers going to the academy in August. We're barely filling our regular patrol shifts without forcing people in. So it's incredibly tough. And it's, this is one lake in the small town of Tyngsborough and Drake-It. This office within the state, I think, manages an additional 300 different boat ramps. So it makes you wonder how many other towns are dealing with these issues. And I have no problem saying that it's not been incredibly easy to get the state to understand how serious it is, with the exception of the environmental police, who have been fantastic, but they've got limited resources as well. I mean, they said that they're supposed to spend their days at DCR pools. I guess that's an edict from the governor. So they're sending people out after they've done a full day at the pools. They're coming and doing overtime on our lake, but they can't be there 24/7.
No.
So it's tough because it's ruining it for the people who live on the lake, and even just people who are from out of town that want to swim at the lake or use it for appropriate
So what's
reasons.
bothering the neighbors? The noise? Jet skis noise?
No, the way they're driving. And it's overcrowded because there's nobody enforcing. The state calculates how many watercraft a Great Pond can
And we
handle.
only have 7 at a time.
And their own calculations are that it can only accommodate 7 additional. So their formula somehow calculates in the average number of watercraft per household for the people that are on the lake. And so they acknowledge that 7 is the magic number. We're seeing 20, 25 additional watercraft on a Saturday or Sunday, and we've proposed a plan. The state hasn't formally said no. They've expressed displeasure with it. That would allow Drake it, which has the responsibility for policing it, to hire somebody to patrol, to maintain the gate so that it truly is only 7. If you look out there any Saturday, there's no room to swim. You can't kayak. You can't do any of those passive recreation things because these jet skis and other boats, but largely jet skis, are all over the place.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not that big a lake. It's a lovely lake.
Well, you got the river. Why not go jet skiing
Oh,
on the
John,
river?
great question. They forced them all off the river after
Who's the they?
the Merrimack River Task Force, which was
Remember
formed in
somebody got killed?
2017.
Is that another government agency we have?
It's a combination of several government agencies, John. But yes, that was after that
The government's
16-year-old
just
girl
so
died.
rich. Isn't the government just
Lots
so
of money.
rich?
Lots of money.
All kinds of pensions there.
Yes. We're talking about the state government, for the record.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how did they kick people off the river?
Enhanced enforcement on the river. They started cracking down on the use of the public boat ramps that are along the river. Exactly what we're asking for in Tyngsborough. And again, I have to be grateful the environmental police have committed extra resources, but it's not enough to say there'll be one environmental police officer on the lake. The state needs to allow us to take better control of that public access ramp.
So what you do is you have 7 volunteers. Tyngsborough's a huge town. So I would have 7 old buckaroos like me. Remember the olden days used to jet ski? Yeah. They usually just, it's in the back. Bring it down to Lake Muscoppic. We'll find 7 volunteers to leave their jet skis at Lake Muscoppic. And the pond is now, Lake Muscoppic is now full. We already have 7. Sorry, go
Oh,
elsewhere.
my, John, that's very conniving.
But creative.
Yeah.
The problem is, though, right now there's no mechanism. So once those 7 spots are filled, they're parking on Tyngsborough Road, they're parking on Willowdale Road, they're parking at our old senior center, which is at least a mile and a half away.
They're dropping them off and going somewhere else.
But Lynn, I understand that, but you see, if you have the 7 old-timers jet skis in the water, you close the boat ramp.
The state won't let us.
See,
This
that's
is the
issue.
problem. You've got the right idea, the state won't let us. The problem is that you've got to pay someone to do it. And even though the land management
No,
agreement...
it's closed all the time. The boats are always there, 24/7.
Yeah, they should be closed, but they won't let us. We asked to, under the
I have 2
law...
words for them. Those bastards.
John said it, not me. It's true, though. I mean, all jokes aside, we asked for a temporary closure of the ramp to allow us to come up with a program to better manage it. The state wasn't interested. They expressed a concern that if they did it here, there'd be 300 other boat ramps that want it. And my question to the state is, well, if there's 300 other boat ramps that think they need a closure, then maybe the problem is these public access boat ramps. But what do I know? What do I know?
You're
Well-
only the manager.
But do we need a home rule?
No, unfortunately, this agency has complete control. Tyngsborough has adopted bylaws to control what happens on the lake, which is permissible. We adopted a bylaw last year that says you can't beach your watercraft on the shore. That helped quite a bit. Drake is going to adopt it at their fall town meeting, so that may help. But that boat ramp is completely under the control of the state, and everything has to get the state's blessing.
We had one at one time, next to the town beach,
Yes?
Well, the audience has a
at
pretty
the end of Maplewood.
solution here. If you have to make a tea time,
Agreed.
maybe make a ramp.
Oh, there are all kinds of things you could do
Totally agree.
if you had someone that could enforce it.
Yeah, no, this
So we're
is...
too stingy to hire somebody.
Well, the state won't. State has to.
I guess my problem is that, and that texter has a great point. That's something we've looked at. And in the big lakes in New Hampshire where that's what you do. You have to prearrange a pass. The issue is, under the land management agreement with the Office of Fishing and Boating Access, the town of Drake is allowed to charge a fee. And it makes sense, as long as the fee is used to police the ramp. And so we've said $30 a pass, 7 passes a day. That pays for a $25 an hour employee from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. to say, look, we're at 7 additional watercraft, the ramp is closed. And the state was not, we haven't submitted the plan yet, but the individual we met with made it clear that anything that involved a fee would likely be viewed unfavorable, which is quite frankly ridiculous. It's insane to think that a municipality can just come up with the money to manage what is truly a state problem. But that texter is spot on. That's something that could totally work. It would give people clarity about when they could come. It would address the overcrowding, and it would certainly address the issues that we're seeing on the lake.
And the word would get out to places like Everett that
Right.
it's not going to happen.
Right.
So, it's just very unfortunate. It's a lovely lake, and the town beach, I was telling Colin, I brought my grandchildren to the town beach. It's fabulous.
It's
I went
a
and got my
gem
little
of a.
pass, and
Yep.
and it was just beautiful. There's something for there are benches, and there are tables and umbrellas and
Yeah.
sand for the kids to play in, and just
It's
wonderful.
summertime, you want to be out enjoying it. If you got a jet ski and you find a nice place, you can want to race around with it. And it's a kid thing.
I get it.
Where would you want them to go, Linda?
Well, it's like the all-terrain motor vehicles. That's a similar thing, that we have an issue. Conservation tends to have it because there's always somebody that abuses it.
Mm-hmm.
It's there are lots of kids that just love to go in the snowmobiles. They love it, but there's always someone that rips up everything and goes crashing into things, and dangerous.
And people should be able to bring their jet skis and boats on Lake Muscuppick. We just have to be able to control the number so that you can do so safely. Right now, it's not safe. I wouldn't get on a jet ski on Lake Muscuppick on a busy day because it's just
in
too packed.
fairness to us, that you can't go in Walden Pond.
Mm-hmm. That's managed by a different state agency, DCR. There's a lot of state
We have
agencies.
more
I would
employees
like
for
that at Walden Pond.
Were you?
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Wonderful, wonderful place. Absolutely fabulous. But I do know that, and a very dangerous place to swim, actually, because you go out to about your waist and you drop down 4 feet.
Yeah.
So it was very sporting.
Linda had a critical role there. She had to make sure people
I
stayed
had to
afloat.
keep pulling people out, and they didn't learn. That's where the drop-off is.
Job security.
Yeah, but it was fun. A great job for somebody in the summer for a kid. But lakes like that, I mean, I don't know of any other place. I don't think White Pond, you could have anything like that. I don't think there's anything nearer to them that they could. The Charles? Can they do it on the Charles?
I've gone kayaking on the Charles. I've never seen a jet ski on the Charles.
I can't imagine
No.
Cambridge allowing.
No, I don't think anything gas-powered probably. No, I'm not sure that there are jet skis on the Charles at all.
Yeah. I would assume not because of the rowing.
Yeah.
And the crew, that type of thing. That would be right. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous on the Merrimack. And as you say, they've thrown them off the Merrimack.
Right.
So, but because someone got killed. And I don't want that to happen.
Right.
And it would be a tragedy for everybody.
So, Colin, have you been down there to listen to these guys?
Oh, yes. I've been out there. I get videos left and right from people. I've spent a few hours out there on a Saturday. It is... Look, we're not going to solve every problem. There are still going to be people. If you limit it to 7, there's still going to be people driving like jerks. But again, if you've got the mechanism to say, well, Linda was on here last weekend making a fool of herself, she can never come back, then you're creating an environment that's safe for people. We're going to submit the proposal. Drake has to submit it because they're the host community, essentially, and their new town manager has been very cooperative and willing to help. But ultimately, if the state doesn't approve it, it would be on the town of Tyngsborough and Drake, and I've expressed our willingness to help to the extent that we can to hire someone. Now, interestingly enough, we did get an earmark in the fiscal year 26 budget from the state to fund overtime for our Marine unit. Unfortunately, the governor has cut every single local earmark, so we didn't receive it. I've asked Representative Gary and Senator Kennedy.
Why do we only hear about Trump's cuts? We don't hear about the governor's cuts.
Well, I'm here to tell you she did cut. She did cut things. So I've asked the
But
Senate.
she's also proposing a $2 tax on every drug that you have.
What?
A $2 tax on every drug that you buy.
Oh, that's no problem. Anybody that's getting your drugs in Massachusetts, go right up to Walgreens in Nashua.
Change to Walgreens in Nashua.
And Linda will be happy to help you on
I'll
way too
direct
many.
you right to the pharmacy.
Interesting.
Wow. How? You know, they keep creating these taxes, the millionaires tax. They keep saying this is going to. None of it say. What do they do with all the money? They keep
Pensions, baby, pensions.
Wow. You know, I mean, the drug money was supposed to the marijuana money was going to save us. Everything was going to save us, and
Linda, it's
they
just
keep going into your pocket.
terrible situation of a bunch of people that are not encouraged to do their job.
Well, you know, I'll tell you what she's doing. She's going to put, particularly
When you call
independent.
when I call the Tyngsborough police station, do I get an answering machine? Hello? Press 1 for dance music, 2 to jump in the lake. Or
Absolutely
does
not.
somebody answer?
You'll speak to a human.
Yeah, dispatcher.
And in Lowell, very often you get, hello? Press 1 for dance music, 2 to jump in the lake. Now they say, oh, that never happens. It
Put a
does.
tourniquet on that leg.
It does happen. And so now I don't see if there's a car parked in front of a fire hydrant. That, in my mind, that's not an emergency. But they'll say, no, you got to call 911. It's not an emergency. And so now you call 911, say, I got a car parked in front of a fire. That's not an emergency.
Yeah.
Make up your mind.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Little bureaucrats.
You always get a human in Tyngsborough.
Good.
Well, that if she does put that tax through, it could very well put the independent pharmacies right out of business.
Well, the independent pharmacies are going to go because when Trump brings the drugs back to the United States, the drug companies are going to bring them in super low, and they're going to just mail you your pills. That's what they're going to do. They're going to mail you your
Well,
pills
they're doing them now, pretty much.
because stuck in the craw is how every CVS and Walgreens turned into a mini Walmart. Why can you buy eyelashes at the drugstore?
And why do you have to have them at 9:45?
24 hours. 24 hours.
I just.
You can go get your new eyelashes at your favorite drugstore at 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's very convenient.
Is Plain Street open 24 hours?
Yeah. So that's the proposal. And when Melanie comes, Melanie Gilbert's coming on Friday. So I'm going to ask her, does she know anything about that? But I know what Mass Fiscal Alliance, they're one of my friends on Facebook, and I watched the video about it, so must be true.
It must be.
The internet's Facebook.
What are you going to do with AI? My goodness, that's getting very scary.
You can't tell. You can't
know.
tell. It's not a real person.
I know. I suppose there are little signs, but it's getting better and better, so you can't. Anyway, well, that's a horrible thing. That's terrible news that that's definitely gonna. Well, they keep trying to. It's like genocide of the elderly. They keep coming up with these little things that Well, if you wait long enough, they won't be able to get into the cardiologist. they need a referral and blah blah blah, and so they'll croak before they get there. Check that one off the list.
Terrible.
It's true. But I have to tell you that Bob is a veteran. He went to the VA, and he had a problem, a black bee. It wasn't I don't know what kind of stinging bug it was. It got into the joint of his wrist.
Oh.
And I brought him down. We were out of there in 42 minutes.
Wow.
He'd seen 3 doctors. It was like
That's fantastic.
we walked in. It was he was in triage. It just is. Thank goodness. It used to be awful, but boy, they're getting.
Yeah.
Why can't our regular care do that? If they could clean up the VA that well,
Yeah.
it's a sign that it could be done. Not that anybody wants to. So anyway, Tyngsborough, we have a concert tomorrow night.
We sure do, at the beautiful Ironwood Park.
I love the sign.
The sign is fantastic.
Love the
It's my
sign.
second favorite sign in town. Of course, my first is our digital sign.
Hey, hold off your glee over there, kids. I got these two messages. How polluted are the lakes with all the jet skis, boats constantly driving around them? Second text is, you need the horrible media to report all of her cuts. That's the meaning of the governor. Back over to you, Lynn.
Well, they test it.
Yeah.
I know they test, conservation makes certain that they're all tested. Every lake in town is tested.
Well, when I see these jet skis and I see the oil or gasoline, it's a beautiful little halo on the water. It's like, oh my God, that looks like a mirage on the water. Look at all the beautiful colors.
Yeah.
They're killing the fish.
I'm not a scientist by any means, and I'm not sure. People have been jet skiing and boating on that lake many, many years, and I know there's still a healthy fish population. But Linda's right. We do test the lake quite regularly. Knock on wood, we've had a good season. That's why occasionally you'll see that the lake will be closed for a day or two. And the Lake Association, the town sometimes contributes through CPC funding to do all kinds of chemical treatment of all the lakes. In fact,
Yeah.
on Thursday, the Long Pond, the Massachusetts portion, is being treated with copper sulfate. So I'm not sure how they stay not so polluted, but we do test them regularly, and when necessary, they're treated.
Right, they keep track of everything, so.
But yes, concert on Thursday at Ironwood. And actually, it reminded me, I was watching last week, and I know I was glad I saw somebody mention spending the money on Ironwood as opposed to roads, which is a comment we hear all the time. And I'm glad it came up because it's a good reminder for us to clarify the funding sources. We have all kinds of funding sources. CPC is one of the ones that does the most amount of projects in town. That's community preservation funds. And those funds can only be used for recreation, historical preservation, affordable housing. I say that to say that the work that we did at Ironwood, which was funded 100% through CPC funding, that money, I think it was about $1.2 million, could not have been used for maintaining the roads, for hiring teachers, hiring firefighters. And that's something that we hear a lot when we do big CPC projects. Oh, well, you had money to do Ironwood Park, or I know the bridges in the town center get a lot of attention, the pedestrian bridges. We didn't take general fund money that would have hired a teacher or a police officer or paved a road and did this. This was funding that was specifically for recreation. And so I just want to make that clarifying point, because a lot of times people see things like that happen and like, well, wait a minute, how come we can't hire a new teacher but we can build this? They're different funding mechanisms.
Oh, yeah. And it is something that services everyone in town.
Mm-hmm.
And I see all ages doing things.
It's incredible.
You don't go by that there's not somebody there, and I go by a lot.
I was there on Monday morning. I walked the whole mile loop that you can do, and I think I was probably one of 15 or so people walking. Some had dogs. People have been really good about picking up after their dogs,
Yes.
which is fantastic. And yeah, the basketball courts are in use constantly. Disc golf is something that I didn't realize was so popular.
I know.
It's always being
that's
used.
a new thing.
Yeah.
That and pickleball.
Yeah.
They're the trends right now. But disc golf is huge.
It's incredible.
I had never heard of it before.
You have to learn to play.
So-
Okay, now, going back to my friendly map of Tyngsborough here.
Yes.
Where is this Ironstone Park you're talking about?
Oh, you just.
All right, if
Open
you-
road.
Zoom in a little bit and go to the north of Muscuppick Lake.
Okay.
Right there. Let's zoom down a little more.
Down, no.
Go more toward the river, which is on your left. Yep. All right, so
Riverfront Park?
No, that's off Frost Road.
Yeah.
That's another lovely place.
we got to come south a little bit. Follow the river. Yep. Okay, right.
There's the bridge.
Keep going.
Keep going past the bridge.
Up Sherburne.
A little bit further south. Boom, right there.
There.
Oh, it's got its Google locator already. There's Ironwood Park. Oh, that's
So we're
fantastic.
going to have a band concert there tonight?
Yeah, Paul
Tomorrow
Bond.
night.
Tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Starts at
Lowell'S
6:30. This is one of, I think we have five planned for the summer, our summer concert series. There's you can't really see it on this, but there's a pavilion that we installed to the right, if you're looking at this map of the clubhouse.
Hey, wait a second, I just went to this thing here, so we'll see what happens.
There's the town beach, it looks like.
That's
Where's
just
that
too
trigger?
much. Too much. Okay, we're gonna have to go back, because I didn't want to go there. All right, so.
A little north. There we go.
There it is.
There it is.
Now, if I go here, I want to see this guy.
Yeah, see, this hasn't. So that's the clubhouse. It's been renovated. Toll Brothers, which donated the land to us as a part of their construction across the street, completely renovated it. So it doesn't look anything like that anymore. But that's the clubhouse, and on the other side of it,
Can
closer
you turn
to
around or to go to the left?
Nope, we're gonna go.
There's a road.
If you're looking at
Go
the
down to Pawtucket.
yeah.
Now,
Well,
now you're
Pawtucket-
going towards the Legion.
Yeah, it's going to be right. It's between the Legion and this clubhouse.
So it's right here, but they don't.
Yep.
There's the,
It's not updated yet on the map, but there's a beautiful pavilion that we installed, and the recreation department is hosting 5 total concerts at Ironwood over the summer. We've had 2 so far. A third one is tomorrow night, and then I think that there's 2 additional ones in.
So if I want to go to this, it's any Tom, Dick, and Tom, Dick, and Mary can go.
Totally free. Show up, bring your chair, bring a towel, bring a snack. The clubhouse is open, so people will be able to see the gorgeous renovation that Toll Brothers did and what's going on inside.
So where am I parking?
Right where you come off Sherburne, there's a small parking lot at the very top.
So I should come in from this road up here.
Yep, enter from Sherburne. There's a
Okay.
parking lot just below your mouse. It's a small one, probably
Yeah.
10 or 15 cars. Yep, that's the first one. And then it's a little bit different now, but that whole area around where your current mouse is can fit an additional, I think, probably 40 cars.
How long would it take one to walk from here to here?
Oh, 5 minutes maybe.
Okay.
Not even. Probably less than that.
See, in Lowell, we complain. We like to have our parking lots right next to the building. So moving forward, we call it, to make the Lowellians happy, you need a big-ass parking spot right here.
yeah, get rid of the park and the
You know, cut down some of
The
these
pickleball
nasty trees.
court.
I know. That'll interfere with our disc golf course, but.
And we don't like to walk uphill, so make this level.
oh.
Oh, okay. I will work on that.
Thank you.
No, that's
Yes.
part of the cardiac.
Yes, it's all a grand plan to keep people fit and moving.
And there's a lovely, that path along is really lovely. It's a nice
Okay.
walk.
So that's tomorrow night, a free concert.
Yep.
Beautiful.
And people from Lowell are familiar with
Okay,
prom.
there's no rain in sight for like a week.
We're doing, yeah,
And it's going to be high 70s, low 80s.
very comfortable.
This is perfect
Fantastic time
weather.
of the year. It's getting, the sun doesn't come up until a little later in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah,
But that's August.
so
We got another month to go for summer weather, so
we're enjoying it.
yes, we are.
So everything else in town is moving along. We don't seem to have any other issues.
No issues. Some exciting things on the horizon. We just released last week a request for qualifications to hire a designer to do the schematic design on a new fire station. That's a really big project that was funded by town meeting in May. So proposals for that are due on August 20th. And then we'll sit down and identify the designer that is most qualified. We've got a lot of interest in the project so far. I think I looked last night and there's 35 firms that have pulled the request for qualifications documents. Now, not all of them will submit a proposal, but most of them will. So we'll have some good options. And then, we'll spend 3 or 4 months coming up with a schematic design and most importantly, a construction estimate, which will help guide us to decide, when is the appropriate time to go to town meeting to ask for the construction funding. So that's really exciting.
Well, that might work out relatively well because then the school, how many years do we have to pay off the school?
Oh, just a nominal 30.
So, yeah, that won't be a horrible thing though.
No, and the $1 million contribution that the general fund is making to the schools has really cushioned what could have been a pretty big blow to residents in terms of an increase in their taxes. It's still an increase in their taxes, certainly, but the $1 million made it, I think, a lot more palatable. we have now kind of run out of the flexibility to do something similar with the fire station. The budget is relatively tight. But as opposed, I think the school project in total is a $60 million, let's call it $60 million
Now,
project.
you're building a new fire station?
Well, we're in the design phase. We need a new fire
Now,
station.
let me ask you, is it going to be an ugly one like Chelmsford?
Absolutely not.
Or
It'll
a
be,
good-looking one like Tewksbury?
it'll be a good looking one like Tewksbury, maybe
Okay.
slightly. It'll be smaller, maybe a little cheaper, but it won't be ugly.
Okay, because Chelmsford did a magnificent job about creating an ugly,
Where
no.
is the ugly fire station?
I think the one next to Town Hall is ugly. Doesn't fit,
Oh,
doesn't match, just there.
now see, I guess I haven't been stuck in traffic. I didn't even notice it. I don't think I've noticed the one in Chelmsford as being. But of course in Tewksbury,
That's-
everything's lovely in Tewksbury.
That's just and then they have they built another building out there. They like, and poor Evelyn, she's bragging about this wonderful building. And I look at her and say,
That's
Well, John, we'll send you the design before we move to construction,
Yeah, no,
so you can
no.
let us know.
as long as there's parking close by for
There
the
will be parking very close
Good,
by.
Good,
Yes.
good.
And we're targeting it to be in our town center, so it will, part of the design consideration will be making sure
Does
that
the
it
fire
doesn't stick
chief
out.
want it in the town center?
Yes. The fire chief is very specific about, we only have one fully staffed 24/7 station in Tyngsborough, so having it perfectly center was important to make sure that apparatus
Now,
could
how
get
do
to.
do they have electronic control of the bridge where they can make the lights?
Yes. Yeah.
Have them fly right through the bridge? Good.
Yeah.
yes, we do.
Do they abuse that?
Absolutely not. No, actually, our fire chief is incredibly strict about when it's appropriate to use lights and sirens. He has this. Him and I talk about this all the time. In his mind, there are only certain types of calls, medical emergencies, actual structure fires, car accidents, that warrant an emergency response because the risk of causing an accident, flying lights and sirens, is so great sometimes. So they definitely don't abuse it. He would not tolerate that.
Good.
Yeah. How's our ambulance program going?
The ambulance service is going fantastic.
You have your own ambulance?
Yes.
That's a killer.
It was a tough few years getting it up and running.
Now, how is it that you guys can charge for municipal service such as that?
There are certain things you can, utilities being one of them, ambulance services being the other. Our rates, one of the things that we're cognizant of is that we're not running a business, right? When we sold,
Well,
and
why
I
don't
wasn't
you
here
open
for
like
it.
a hospital, open other stuff? Think of all the jobs you could create. If you opened a hospital, Tyngsborough Hospital,
Yes, I think
Town Hospital,
my to-do list gets a lot bigger when I come here.
open your own Walmart supplies for the town.
Walgreens, so people can buy their eyelashes at 10 o'clock at
I don't understand why you
night.
guys are getting into the ambulance business. I'm against this getting into the
So,
ambulance business.
Tyngsborough, and I wasn't here at the time, this was 2016, I think, is when it started. I believe that the motivating factor behind it was in 2016, we weren't yet a full-time fire department. It was entirely call. I think there was a full-time chief on during the day. And that obviously resulted in slower response times to things like accidents, fires, medical calls. We were outsourcing our ambulance service to Trinity and Patriot at one point. I know they're basically all the same company now. The sell to town meeting was that if we ran an ambulance service, you can charge for the services. The fees that we collected would cover the cost of having 2 full-time firefighters on the ambulance, which would get us to the 4 minimum staffing needed to run.
With taxes. Taxes are supposed to fund those.
Correct.
And so now we're going to have I just don't like the municipalities taking this ambulance service, and I'll use the best example I can say is you are at the peril of the dispatcher. The dispatcher knows where the ambulance is. Now the ambulance, so Linda just had a health incident, so we're scooting her to Lowell General.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the manager has a heart attack. He's down on the floor at Town Hall.
Just leave me.
Well, Colin, it's going to be a few minutes because the ambulance is full. It's going to Lowell General. It's going to be coming back. When I see an ambulance heading towards town center with lights and siren, you're cheating the system. And so at what point do you call a private company to come and get Colin off the floor and get Colin some medical assistance because Linda's already occupying the ambulance. How does that, can you speak to how that works?
Absolutely. This actually happens more frequently than you would think. Not me being on the floor, but
Yes, I know.
we have 3 ambulances. We run 2 at a time. Obviously, we're subject to staffing limits, and like every other municipal. And if we had Trinity, we'd be in the same situation. We rely sometimes on mutual aid.
Yep.
Several, in June we had a horrible accident on Route 3. It required 6 ambulances. We had 2 of ours there, and then we were requiring mutual aid. But 97% of the time, because the ambulance is in our town center, because they're Tyngsborough firefighters, they're dispatched in Tyngsborough by Tyngsborough 911 center. It is getting to the scene a lot faster than a private ambulance. If you look at Dunstable, Dunstable's been working with us to try to get us to cover their ambulance service. They're using Trinity. They're a small town. They don't have enough calls to warrant it. So Trinity, if you have a heart attack in Dunstable, that ambulance is likely coming from Lowell or Chelmsford, and you're looking at a 25-minute response time. That's cut dramatically, almost eliminated by having an in-house ambulance. It isn't perfect. One of the challenges is that you're running an enterprise fund, so we have to make sure that we're collecting enough revenue to cover the cost of the equipment, to cover the cost of a replacement ambulance down the road, and the staffing.
How profitable is it for the fire department to have the ambulance service?
I wouldn't say profitable, and that's not our intention, but it is covering
Overcost.
it is covering the expenses, and we are putting money away to replace equipment as necessary. And it was, in all transparency, it wasn't like that for the first few years. The first few years it was running in the red, and I think there was a lot of concern about that. I think we're now on year 3 of positive year-end results. And to be totally transparent, it's not, we're not raking in $25,000, $30,000 extra every year. We're breaking even, and then there's the Ambulance Enterprise Fund supported the replacement ambulance that we just put on the road a few months ago. So,
Well, that's good.
yeah, so it is working, and I think I look at the call data. The ambulance is in use constantly. Nowadays, you respond to fires far less frequently than you do to medical emergencies and car accidents, and we're using mutual aid less, but it's something that you can never really truly escape. So it works for us because it got us to a point where Tyngsborough now has a full-time fire service. I think that the only reason that was feasible at the time was because of the ambulance.
Now, when there is a call, if I have a Big Mac attack, everybody's coming. The
Yeah.
police are coming, the fire company. Is there any?
Even the town manager comes.
I'm coming. If it's Linda, I'm definitely coming, yes.
Isn't there a way of streamlining that for medical calls?
But let me just give you a little bit of, the more the merrier. Believe me, when you are on the floor with a heart attack, the more people to show up to help you out, the better. Because you got the fire, well, what are the firemen doing there? Okay, the lifesavers got to go in there, and they're working on me. The firemen are getting all the furniture out of the way so they can get the stretcher in there and get me on the stretcher and get me to the hospital. And so I like the firemen being there, say there's way too much help, and I joke with my firefighter friends that the first thing they learn at firefighter school is how to screw up the traffic with the truck. It's a certain way they park that truck so it just clogs the whole
Everything.
road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But other than that, I think the firefighters do a fantastic job. And those are like when the cops show up, they sit in the cruiser. What does the cop do?
well, that doesn't happen in Tyngsborough.
But the cop's got to be there.
Right, and and I'm sure this is the same everywhere, but in Tyngsborough specifically, let's play through this heart attack scenario. It is very likely that our police officer will get there before the fire truck, simply because our police officers are assigned to specific sectors. They're not responding from the station. Every one of our police officers is first aid certified. They have the equipment necessary to start CPR. The reason that you see so many people respond to a heart attack, and I've fortunately never had to deal with this, but I'm told performing CPR is incredibly physically exhausting, and so they're switching out after 2 or 3 minutes. So John is totally right. The more people you have there, and once the police officer's there first, he'll start or she'll start providing first aid, clear the area so that there's a place for the fire truck to come. Once the ambulance is there, and every time there's a heart attack, it's also a Lowell General paramedic is responding. The firefighters are kind of there to assist, put the patient on the stretcher, get them inside, move the furniture. But it's really, particularly around heart attacks, about swapping out in the middle of CPR because it can be incredibly taxing.
It is, but I have had them. It's good to have.
Well, and
The
another thing,
supporting-
I have people complain to me that firefighters are used for like silly things, and I don't think so. If you got a cat in a tree and the fire department comes out and rescues the cat, it's good practice for those guys.
Right.
And if whatever the fire department's coming to do, whatever the police, even if you think it's unnecessary, someday the training that they get on that scene might save
Could be the
somebody's-
president on top of a roof.
Could be.
That was hilarious.
So I have no trouble with having
No.
too many firefighters, too many cops.
Now, if you're having a heart attack and John shows up, then things have
That's a
gone
bad
very
sign.
Yes.
I'm the
Things
last.
did not work.
I have a coffee cup last responder.
Yeah.
People give me these things. You're the last responder.
Yeah, not anybody you want to see. So, but it is amazing when we don't think about it, but when you need them, everybody wants them to be available.
Right.
And right this instant. We want you. When do you want to be here? Right now. So when you hear the siren, just get out of the way.
Right.
Now, one of your complaints, John, has always been about the 911 call. Is that-
911 dispatchers. I don't care for regional dispatch because they're not the townies. You guys dispatch from
From
town.
Tyngsborough.
So they know all the nooks and crannies. They know where Franny's Variety Store is. But the regional dispatch center, hello, 911, your call's important to us. Where's your emergency? Franny's gift shop. What's the address for Franny's gift shop? I don't know. And I'll ask both of you. I'll ask Colin first. What's the address here, Colin?
26 Highland Street.
You have a wonderful,
He
wonderful
is very
memory.
good, isn't he?
He sure is.
We're very fortunate.
The average Jane and Joe have no idea where they are. You know, my husband just had a heart attack. Well, where are you? I can see Franny's Variety Store. Yeah, but what street are you on? We need a better location than that. And so,
Well, can't they zero in on your location?
Yeah,
No.
On cell
technology.
phones.
FCC won't let them.
Technology has come a long way. I hear a lot when I came back as town manager, right before I started, Tyngsborough had explored joining the Drake and Tewksbury Regional Dispatch.
Glad you didn't.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that were. And these were the same arguments. I mean, I watched the select board meetings, the one right before I was hired, and they were the same comments. Now, I've got to say, you encounter that the field of 911 dispatchers, it's incredibly tough. That's an incredibly tough job. You're talking to people at the worst times of their lives.
Internally stressful on the operators.
Incredibly stressful. So there's a lot of burnout, and we're constantly hiring new people. So you get that same issue in Tyngsborough. We hire a new dispatcher today. It's going to take them quite a bit of time to know where the bicentennial fields are, where Riverfront Park is. The technology has come along quite a way, and I do believe that we aren't far away from the state mandating you be part of a regional dispatch. And I think if you do it correctly, one that I can think of that's run very well is the Patriot Regional Dispatch, which is in Pepperell. They hire from the host communities. I think there's 5 or 6 communities that are part of it now. Groton and Dunstable joined last year. I think there's a way to do it correctly, but John's totally correct. You need to make sure that there's still some level of local connection. One of the things that I think that you'll see is communities pairing up. Groton and Dunstable did it together for a while, and that helps.
Well, it also begs the question, why don't you just combine the fire departments? Cut the staff in half.
There are a lot of places, particularly in central Massachusetts and the Cape, that do fire districts.
Tewksbury right now, they're having a little battle or discussion about this. How about a battery storage facility? This thing they're talking about in Tewksbury, it's a good-sized battery. It's going to store energy. That's all it's going to do. Do you have any such facilities in Tyngsborough that you know of?
No, we were approached by a developer 2 years ago that had a parcel in mind that wanted to do it. It never came to fruition, but that was the first concern our fire department had, was what are the risks? How is the facility designed to be self-contained, so if there is a fire, essentially you're just waiting for it
So
to
we can
burn
stay
out
in bed.
inside.
So we can stay in bed.
You can say, yeah. No, I'm sorry. You tricked me.
Well, I just don't care for this business with like we'll ask the fire department, hey, what's your opinion on this, because we don't want them. But when we have a new rotary we want to put in, we don't call the fire chief to say, hey, how do you feel about a rotary being there?
Yeah.
Because the fire trucks don't care for rotaries. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Right.
They can tip.
Right.
So
Well, we have no
they don't care for it.
roundabouts.
Because, I mean, wouldn't you want the fire department to show up right now?
Right.
So I think these, but we don't ask them when there's a rotary. We only ask them when we want them.
Well, it's a
What do we
rocky
call
road
that?
trying to get anything in Tyngsborough after the dump. We already paid our dues, big time.
Yeah.
And I tell as many people who don't listen to me, if you start it, then they will come. And
Yes.
that's what happened with our landfill. And we had a dump, and then it became a landfill, and we kept closing it, and the state kept saying, oh, but we don't have any place to dump up, hazardous waste, and since you're there, so if you don't have it, it can't come.
Yeah.
So it's, as I say, and that's always going to be a legacy in Tyngsborough. I mean, they capped it, but it's still leaching, and I'm always terrified that cap is going to something's going to happen to it. It's going to burn again. I mean, it would.
Well, I have a friend of mine in Drake that's horribly afraid of the electric car that's next door is going to catch on fire all the time. And I'm like, it ain't going to catch you on fire. What are you worried about? I don't like that car there. They park it too close to my house. Let it go. Too much to worry about.
Well, yeah, because it could be a lot of other things there that are much more dangerous, that they don't even know about. They know about the car, but they don't.
Right. All the things they
you
aren't
know.
sure. Yeah.
So pretty soon, Danny Rourke's going to show up, and we'll
Yes.
have a more Lowell flavor to the discussion this morning. Anything we didn't talk about, Colin, that we should talk about?
The block party.
Yes. The block party, August 23rd. I think they're still looking for 20 or so volunteers. So if you live in Tyngsborough, or you don't live in Tyngsborough, but you regularly attend the block party, sign up for a shift. I think they do them in hour or 2 hour increments, so it's not your whole day. But it's going to be packed as always. I expect it'll be bigger than last year, as it typically is, and it'll end with fireworks over the river, which is always a spectacular performance. And Allison did a great job explaining it last week, so I won't attempt to steal her thunder, but it's truly remarkable. I mean, I say this every time we talk about the block party. Allison is the only paid employee that that works on the block party. The rest of it is entirely volunteers, and not even just the 200 or so volunteers that make it happen because they're at parking lots or they're at the ticket gate or they're at the games. But there's a handful of probably 15 or so volunteers who for the last several months have been working with Allison to secure vendors, to design the layout, to come up with the brochures, to recruit entertainment. Yeah, so it just speaks to, I think, the sense of pride that people who live in Tyngsborough have about Tyngsborough. I don't think there's many other examples in some of our neighboring communities like that. So August 23rd, it's always a good time. The weather will cooperate, certainly. Aside from that, we just closed enrollment in our second annual Civic Leadership Academy, which was last year was our inaugural year, and we just invited residents to participate and get a crash course on how local government works, because it's a lot to ask somebody to stand up at town meeting and speak about something or vote on the $52 million budget if they don't know how municipal government works. We had 11 participants last year. I think we have 12 signed up this year. All of them are new to local government, so we try to give priority to people who haven't already served on a board or a committee, and that program will start the second week, 2 weeks from
Are
today.
your selectmen paid?
Our selectmen receive an annual stipend. The chair gets $3,000, and the members get
What
$2,500.
would it take to put a zero behind that?
A lot of money. I think.
Well, you see, I think this business of having a bunch of volunteers run the town, it's great. But we run out of volunteers. We have a whole
Right.
generation of your age, Colin, that have two kids they both want cell phones. Oh my God. You know what cell phone they want? They want the iPhone 55. And they want an iPad Super Duper. And they want the fastest internet in the world. That goes without saying. I want a 60-inch flat screen TV in my bedroom. And all this stuff costs money. And it's commonplace. Well, where's your cell phone, honey? Well, right here. I mean, these kids, they have a wonderful life, but every parent out there has an extra $100 in electronics they pay for that I never had to pay for because the stuff didn't exist. And I think Linda would agree, this stuff just didn't exist. Now, to your generation, Colin, they all have this stuff. And we're still expecting our selectmen and our volunteers to work for zippity-doo-dah. I just don't see that's going to roll out in the future because of the obligations that parents have to their children. Got anything to...
Well, in towns, it's a little different, John, because you're close, the closeness of it. You know a lot of you end up knowing more people than you realize in your community because your kids.
Volunteers, Colin, you got enough volunteers?
You know, we're actually doing very well. We could always use more, but we're not. I would say yes. I mean, I think we don't have very many vacancies on boards and committees currently.
Yeah.
So do you have enough select people running for office? Every time there's an election, we always have 2 or 3 more people who want to have the seats.
You know, we're not getting the competitive races like I think that we used to. I think you're spot on, and Linda is a great example. I mean, Conservation Commission, they receive $0, and they run, you know, they've got 2 meetings a month. People know they're on the commission, so when they're out and about in town, people I'm sure are asking Linda about what they can or can't do. And particularly on land use boards and the select board, you run the risk of being named in a lawsuit. I'm sure that you've been
I just got my notice.
involved in a few. So I totally agree with you. It's a big responsibility. I certainly don't envy the select board's position. I think that what you see in the volunteers, particularly the really effective ones, is to Linda's point, they're doing it because they love the town. They want to be involved in the town. And I think it's on people like me, town managers, for the Conservation Commission, our administrator, to do everything we can to make it as easy for them as possible. But you're right. I mean, it doesn't change the fact that if you're on the select board, you're out to dinner in town, somebody's complaining to you about the roads, or somebody's complaining to you about the fire truck screwing up traffic. So I don't disagree with you. I think it'd be a huge cost to spend. I mean, school committee in Tyngsborough, they get $0, and they, you know, I think during the pandemic we saw they were under quite a lot of pressure as well. So I don't disagree. I think it would just be
In a perfect
be
world, it
tough.
would be lovely. I think
Yeah.
that it would be nice to have. But on the other hand, throwing money at things doesn't always solve the problem, John. I mean, it's either the people want to be there or they don't. And
Well,
a few bucks.
only rich people can run, Linda.
No. How much money are you going to pay them, though? How much are you going to, in Tyngsborough, size of
Okay,
Tyngsborough? We've got 5 selectmen. What are we going to pay them? And is it going to make a difference? Let me ask you this. Does it make a difference in the city council?
We have the internet. Yeah, it does. They get 25 grand.
But it's a lot more
The council gets
cumbersome.
25 grand. It's, well, they're compensated properly. I think what every town needs to do, Drake it, they're freebies.
We have a
I think
professional.
Tewksbury, there are a bunch of freebies out there. I just think that it's up to the manager of that town to do a research of, okay, what's the average pay for a town our size in the state? And say, well, you know what? The average pay is this, and I think that we should certainly consider it. Now, the selectmen can say, oh, no, I don't want the money. We don't want it because I'm rich. I don't need it.
But I think the average pay isn't. I don't think in the towns, people are getting paid.
Yeah.
And I'm just telling you that this business of having volunteer people take on all this stuff in the so happy society that we have, you know, let's call, I'm not going to use the word Morgan and Morgan because I don't want them mad at me, but let's call your favorite lawyer and tell them about your day, and he'll decide if you can sue the town.
Yeah.
And that's the society that we live in.
Yeah, I don't disagree. There's certainly a burden, and I mentioned the lawsuit piece because we see it. This is a very litigious society we live in. One of the things I'll say, and I'm not just saying this because they're my bosses, but I think that when you look at the select board members, the conservation commission members, the planning board members, a lot of them are doing it because they have passion for the town, they have passion for the things that they're doing, and I think that results in better representation for the town. I'm not saying that, if you paid them, you probably have some people running simply for the money, and then I guess what are their motives? But you're right. I mean, long term, is it sustainable to expect that somebody who has to work 2 jobs to make ends meet can run for select board? Probably not. But I think that's where it falls on people like me to make sure that the select board doesn't have to do a heck of a lot of work aside from be the pulse on the community, relay the feedback that they hear. But I mean, you're right. You've identified a tough situation. I don't know the answer. I think we're
But
lucky.
I don't know. Well, how do you put a price on it? I mean, I can't. I'm sitting here thinking about what should Ed Derby, who's chairman of conservation, get? I don't think you could pay him enough for what he does. And it's because he knows what he's
In
doing.
lovely Lowell, Massachusetts, a long, long time ago, everybody on the board got free health insurance. Until somebody said, I don't like that idea. Oh, the mayor's here. I see him in the other room. Hey, Dan. And I just think that there's a value there, and volunteers aren't falling out of the sky like they used to.
Well, look at the vote. They don't get paid.
Yeah. Look at the vote.
Well, the vote. Part of the problem
Good
with
morning,
the vote
Mr.
now
Mayor.
is because Ed Kennedy came up with that
Morning.
ridiculous one man, one vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still on.
So it's
We're
just
local
annoying.
access. It's okay.
But anyway,
I'm gonna go.
I don't think quite.
Hey, Lynn, I gotta go to break.
Hey, Dan. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
I see. The vote part of the vote now is because Ed Kennedy came up with that ridiculous one man, one vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still on.
So it's
We're local
annoying.
access. It's okay.
Anyway, I don't think quite.
Hey, Lynn, I gotta go to break.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I thought they were all there. Oh, Tyngsborough Town Manager, I can see that. Well,
I'm gonna lose all the titles right now. That's okay.
okay, well, welcome to City Life. I'm Linda Bown, I'm your host. I have Mayor Dan Rourke that just came in from Lowell, and of course I have the Tyngsborough Town Manager, Colin Loiselle. That is a mouthful there. And we've been talking about Tyngsborough, and Paul Bellet is playing a concert in Tyngsborough tomorrow night.
Oh, you go, great, yeah.
So, He's-
Paul's feeling well, and that's good.
I know.
Good to hear, that's great, yeah.
Everybody's happy to hear that. So anyway, and you had a great, successful folk festival.
Yeah, as we were talking before we started, but, the 130,000 people that they estimated attended at some point over the weekend. Friday night was very, very busy for the parade of flags. Saturday was just right from noontime, till 8, 9 o'clock, again, very, very busy. And we had the rain on Sunday, earlier on in the morning, but about 2 o'clock, it was packed again. So, again, it's always very well run. DPW, the fire department, police department do a wonderful job of keeping everybody safe and things clean. I think the vendors are very happy. I did speak with a couple of the downtown business owners. They were reporting 25, 30% increase in sales than the year before. So
That's
it'll
awesome.
be hard to top next year, but we'll take what we got this year.
Do you have anything else? Do we have any more smaller festivals?
Yeah, so the city's been doing stuff like this for a while. Just this past weekend, we had our Puerto Rican festival, which was Saturday and Sunday, and again, it was very well attended. Came from all over the place. It was, like I said, a weekend event. The city did close down Market Street with a stage, and again, we had a ton of vendors.
Orient Festival, they were jamming over there too.
Yeah, and then also, that's coming up, in a couple of weeks, we have the Water Festival, so.
Yeah?
No, but they had something over at Clementi Park.
Yes, that was a couple, 2 days, Saturday ago, yes, Johnny, yep. So again, it's,
And I
know,
think
the
you
more
do a
you do, it gets
beer
more
thing or
inactive,
something, don't you do it in the fall?
Yes, we busker and beers, I think it's called. So it's like
Yeah.
a little, we'll stop, people will play music across through downtown. We'll have a big garden set up and things like that. So, we always try to, bring different things and anything to attract people to the downtown. Worked out, I think. So it's been a good season so far for us.
Well, it's an interesting city, because I know, like, you have Irish Week and the French Week, that they have their banquet and all kinds of things that, it's really nice. It's nice to see the flag raisings and all that.
Yeah, no, it's just what makes us, very unique, right? Is all the different communities that have come to Lowell and cultures that have come to, make us what we are, and something we're very, very proud of. And I think it's not just being the mayor, but all the councilors enjoy going to the flag raisings and, talking to people from different parts of the world, and it's just, it's a pretty neat experience.
How was National Night Out last night?
Yeah, so we hit,
How many did you make?
went to North Common into the Maury School. Both, again, was well-run. They were both packed with kids, which was what we wanted to do. And, police and fire were at both spots, showing off the trucks, so the vehicles and
The
everything
weather
like
was
that.
perfect.
It was really, a lot of candidates are out too, John, so, but,
Oh, I bet.
yeah, it was very well attended, and, you had different, like the Housing Authority and the CMAA and the CBA, CTI.
So they didn't have one in Sunday, because Sandy McNamara, she was the chief cook at Bottom.
Yeah, they used to have it over at the St. Louis School, I believe, the parking lot for a while, but I think now they do it at the Maury and the North Common.
Because we used to have three. We had Sandy.
That's right in Centerville.
Yeah, right, yeah, the St. Louis
Okay.
parking lot there.
Well, good night.
Yeah,
That's
it was
great.
right.
Yeah, we used to always have her in, as a matter of fact.
Good soul.
Yeah. She was
Very
a
nice.
real go-getter. So that's good. So now what's up with the UN?
Yeah, so again, making progress, it seems like every week. We want to make a worldwide announcement, August 25th, which will be in Geneva. And then we have a couple of meetings right afterwards with the folks from the UN and the UEF. And then, hopefully we have our list of 10 possible projects that we'd like to get off the ground.
So, Danny, you going?
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Is April going?
No, just. Why
not?
I know. I
You
wish.
gotta be kidding me.
I know.
Start a GoFundMe.
I know. So.
Send April to Switzerland.
Yeah. I know. It's,
Danny's wife.
It's a family vacation week, so I gotta hustle back. So hopefully I'll be there for
Take the
a
kids.
couple of days and come back home. So.
We need a GoFundMe for you, dear.
Yeah, but it should be again, it's something that's going to bring Lowell to the worldwide stage. I know that the manager and his team have met with investors already, pitching different projects, and it's coming. And it's it does take a little bit of time to materialize and to get all the legal wording and all that stuff complete. But as of now, we're full steam ahead.
When you say 10 projects, can you list
So
them?
yeah, so they I probably should have emailed to John before I came, but they asked us, whether it be city-owned land, state-owned land, which we could acquire, or maybe businesses that are looking to, sell or something like that, which some possibilities. So you're talking, the South Common, Thorndike Street, where the old trolley used to be, across from Carpet. Then you have the Gallagher Terminal down there as well. We have the CBA project, the Link project, the UMass Lowell. When the folks came, and UMass Lowell talked about what they're going to do, and they have, I think, 8 left that they're trying to bring in business and housing to that effect. They were very receptive to those projects too. So UMass Lowell has also signed on with the city of Lowell to be part of the Front Runner City program. They'll be the first university in this program. So it's pretty,
really?
pretty good for them. Yeah, that's worldwide. It's not just the United States. So. I think that the progress that you see over there is paying off here as well. So, we'll take care of that in August, and then we have the forum in October. It's just like a little quick, 2 or 3 day event where we'll be back and forth. We're very hopeful that our DPD director and our assistant director can hash out all the final details, and we can make an announcement of our first project that's going to break ground in October.
That fast?
Yeah, it's we're going to be busy as a council and as an administration. What the goal is now we have all our stuff in place. We have all the goals that need to be met. Lowell has completed our profile, And what we do is, we will go to these people that, want to invest in urban cities, that want to take part in revitalization projects. So Lowell being the first one in the United States, people, it's surprising how many people already come knocking on our door to say, hey, what do you got, what's going on, how are you gonna make things work, what are you thinking about? So that's the ultimate goal, is to be able to, announce our first major project in October.
Well done. Speaking of development, Colin, on what's happening up on the old TJ Maxx?
The 440 Plaza?
Yeah, there's a rock climbing or something.
Yes, that's the plaza that has Tavern in the Square now. Used to be kind of a dilapidated plaza. Sam Park has invested quite a bit of money. They're wrapping up construction on the rock climbing gym, and my understanding is he signed a lease with 3 new restaurants. I think there's a Brazilian steakhouse, a Mexican restaurant, and an Indian restaurant.
Oh, wow.
All going in there. So the construction is a little bit slower than I think people had expected. The pandemic slowed him down quite a bit, but the construction on the rock climbing gym required some changes to their plan because the building is much taller than what they had originally planned for. But that is coming along very quickly. I don't know that they've set an opening date. They've done just the outside construction, so now they've got to build the inside. But it's still moving along. He's still spending quite a bit of money, and the tax increment financing agreement that we entered into with them in, I think, 2018, is the benefit he was experiencing is almost over now, so the town is getting almost the full.
Now, the arcade up there, that's open. Is that
Yes.
open?
Yes, Player One had a little bit of a slow. The problem with where Player One is in the back of the parcel, so unless you drive all the way back there, you don't really see it. But
You have to go to the movie theater to realize it's there.
Yes, but they've been doing very well. I talked to them a few weeks ago. I think it took longer than they would have liked, but it's really a family destination, so I think people have heard about it, they've talked about it, and they're not as busy as Tavern in the Square is, but they're getting very busy.
And what's in there?
There's axe throwing, bowling. It's virtual axe throwing though, so you can't hurt yourself. It's very safe. There's a whole
That just
arcade.
rolled off your tongue like,
Yes.
oh, won't we have axe throwing?
Well, that was like the big draw when they came and got their license. They've got a full bar. They've got food service.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it's pretty cool inside. It looks small from the outside, but when you're inside, there's quite a bit to do.
I think the Indian restaurant's going next to the physical therapy.
Yes.
And I know the dollar store is going out. That's going to New Hampshire. So I'm not sure what all is going in. That might be where one of the restaurants is going.
Well, he had looked at selling off that. He originally sold off the Dunkin' Donuts parcel, and he had looked, the last time I spoke to him a few months ago, he was inquiring about selling off that parcel that has the Dollar Tree. I don't think that he had any success, so I'm not sure what else he plans on putting there.
Yeah, good developer.
Yeah.
Very good developer.
I mean, a big change from what it was before he started this project.
Yeah.
You can see the change when you go up there, you drive
Oh,
by
yeah.
from what it was just a few years ago.
Oh, my
Good job
God, it
over
was
there.
depressing,
Yeah.
Very sad.
That Middlesex, the sewage, bringing the sewage up made a big difference.
Yeah.
And,
And
okay.
So Bahama Breeze just closed up one day and shut
Yeah.
the doors.
Yes, unfortunately.
What was that?
I think that they say it was part of an assessment they've done nationwide. They closed, I think, 14 or 15 locations across the U.S. We've talked to the Darden Group. They haven't relinquished the lease. So that parcel is actually owned by the mall. It's one of the mall's outposts.
Oh.
They haven't relinquished the lease yet because they're, quote unquote, assessing their other brands to see if any of them would fit in that location. But Simon, the mall, has already started exploring other restaurant opportunities, and we've received, actually, our economic development folks have received a few inquiries from people, some local businesses that want to expand, and some from outside. Tavern in the Square does very well. There's the brewery just a little bit down the road.
That's packed.
I think finding something that isn't currently offered will be important, but Darden technically still holds the lease.
And Sunoco, that piece of property, it was originally they thought somebody was going to try to put the marijuana shop there and.
Oh, Simon's Auto.
Simon.
Yes, he's renovating it. He got a beer and wine off-premise license. He's putting in a convenience store of some sort.
Oh, that's interesting.
He's been exploring it. I don't know if he's decided. He has this grand plan where part of it will be the convenience store. he's calling it a lottery outlet, I think is the name of the business, and he'll sell beer and wine. And he was also looking at the same time at keeping one of the bays to still do oil changes.
That's bizarre.
Yes.
Just lost me there. I was getting.
But he's renovating the building. They've started the construction.
It's been sitting there for a long
yeah.
time, and the car wash is very successful.
Very, very successful.
So yeah, it's nice to see things moving along. You see it in Lowell. It's we've been waiting a very long time. The other thing in Tyngsborough that's strange is that Stonehenge. What is going on there?
I know they've Chateau Merrimack. They have new management. Actually, it's going to be a year now. Last year, they brought in a new management company. They originally had opened with like a Mediterranean restaurant vibe, and I don't know how successful it was. I know that the hotel part has been struggling since they reopened. They reached out last September because it was a new management company, and they had brought in a new chef, and the focus was
from the
more
North End.
Yes, more
It's supposed to be
Italian.
very exciting.
I haven't heard from them. I mean, I drive by and I see some cars there, but, I don't see... They had this whole grand plan. They were going to host all kinds of events and functions. It's a tough location. I mean, it's not right off the highway.
But it is a facility to have, training things, and it's too bad. It was a lovely spot.
It's a beautiful property, yeah.
It is. And they had opened a coffee shop.
Yes, that lasted a very short time,
Yeah.
a blink of an eye, and
Yes,
then
yeah.
I went to the opening. You were
Yes,
there,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden it was gone.
Comment from the audience, with all the projects happening in the city, does that mean taxes will go down instead of an increase?
Yeah, so, the good thing about both the Link project and the Front Runner City projects, they're all taxable properties. So, obviously.
That's huge.
Yeah, it is. So you're looking at maybe, 12 to 15 new projects in the city, maybe within, 5 years, that are all be on the tax rolls. So that's what we're hoping for. Is what the project is no other way around it. And, that revenue reflects hopefully a lower tax increase.
Well, but because for a long time there, it just seemed like all the property was being gobbled up by the university, and you were losing taxes on that.
Yes, and on the flip side, what was there before is what was there now. Obviously, there's a big improvement aesthetically, and probably for the neighborhood. But you're right. You did lose some, money coming in on that. But again, it's also a short and a long range view at the same time when we're looking at the future of Lowell. So. With these projects coming on board, to answer the question is, that's the hope, right? The more money you bring in, the less you have to rely on the taxpayer.
Well, it's nice to see the university sort of giving back to the community and doing something to keep the graduates in the area.
Yeah, no, I look at, and that's the whole goal of their projects, right? Is they're bringing in defense companies and STEM and AI, all this type of stuff that is going to be relevant to us in the next decade, 2 decades. So
Frightening.
Right, and you're going to have yes at some point. But the goal, like you said, Linda, right, is to have them go to school and be able to transition into a career and hopefully stay in the city. And that's, I think, where they're coming from. And why would you want to partner with that?
Comment from the audience, after we take their, after we take their money, it won't be long before the UN and WEF start imposing their agenda on the people of Lowell. Lowell will eventually outlaw fossil fuels and replace it with 100% green energy. It's a great sales pitch, but everything comes with a price. Enjoy your electric fire trucks, police cars, and school buses. And I'll just say to this guy, I think Lowell should buy a Powerball ticket every week too. So, thanks.
Are you seeing any of that? Are you seeing the
It's funny,
imposing the green?
Right, yeah, look, there's always people that have a negative attitude. That's cool. That's fine. But again, I'll give you a quick story. So we're at the Athenian Corner on the Wednesday where the group came in. We're having lunch there, just showing off the downtown and different areas, and taking for tours up and down. This Jam and again Thorndike up to the Gallagher Terminal, up through downtown.
Western Ave, you
all
went
that stuff went to. So. And the Congresswoman Lloyd Trahan came and, she met the delegation and the group, from the UN, and they were talking, and, one of the main gentlemen that runs the United Urban Economic Forum said to the Congresswoman, look at, you have your politics, I have mine. This is not a political game. we are here, to improve the areas, to improve neighborhoods, to, revitalize cities, and politics should have no place in this. And I think that the congressman was a little surprised, taken aback by, what I was saying, because, he's saying, if the ROI is there, the return on investment is there, I don't care, left, right, and center, it's not what, we're concerned about. There are some things that people may consider to be progressive, to qualify, but, you talk about, clean air, clean energy, higher education for all, the eradication of poverty, like, those are pretty much things that everybody agrees on, right? So, that's where we're at. That's where you have to establish a master plan for the next 25 years, right? Which we have a little 40. Sustainability, ideas. We have a sustainability department, which we acquire grants every year to attribute to. So, these are, I would term them common sense, goals that people want and people deserve to have. And once we have met them, we can go forward and try to get some investment into the city.
I'm going to kind of off track a little bit. I'm going to ask both of you, how I know we've all been short of police. Nobody wanted to be policemen. Is the recruitment up higher in the city and the town?
Yeah, no, we're still down. I think a couple dozen officers from a fall. I think it was 251 would be total. I think it was somewhere maybe around the high 220s. So we're not to where we want to be. As far as Lowell. And specifically has been very reactive, productive to get out there and to get into the community. To meet at the senior center and the Boys and Girls Club, where they try to recruit people to come in. They they talk about the civil service exam, how to prepare for that.
Yeah, we even advertised it on the show.
Right. Yeah. And we give kind of like previews of what to expect and things like that, and we're getting into our minority communities as well, because obviously we want as many officers as possible to reflect the community. So we're doing a lot of good work in that area. As far as the actual applications and numbers, I'm not sure about, but we have been very, very proactive in getting the word out.
What about Tyngsborough?
It's incredibly tough. We have 2 starting the academy in August, so they won't be able to do a solo patrol until I think April. We just negotiated new contracts last year that are much more competitive. The changes to civil service make it tougher because it's easier to go elsewhere now. We've retained quite a bit, but when we need to hire people, we've lost a couple officers just because they moved out of state in the last couple of months, and we're getting 3 or 4 people apply. We're not getting anybody who's already academy trained. So right off the bat, you're starting kind of at a...
What's starting pay out there for a cop?
I just did this. A base patrolman salary in Tyngsborough, not with any education incentive, I think is like 71 grand.
Okay. And what's the basic starting salary in Chelmsford?
Probably
If you don't know
a little
that,
more
you
than
can't
that.
know everything, so.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm sure it's a little bit more than that.
Okay, so why don't we pay what Chelmsford pays?
Different budget.
Not as many people.
Yeah.
But the population is...
Well,
It's not a dramatic difference, I think, and I think we make up.
The police department's a small business. They can say whatever they want. It's a small business. And if you're going to be, like the guys who work for me, the guys and gals who work for me part-time, we pay them a certain amount of money. They get like $100 or $125 if that's what they get. And it's competitive. We pay more than, so we get as much help as we want because we pay a little bit more than our neighbors. Police departments are the same thing, okay? If I'm going to be a cop and I'm going to risk my life pulling people over and putting out all the little fires, and if I'm going to do that, at least pay me what everybody else gets. So I think that something's got to get looked at every year.
We have to quit. We still...
No, well, there's a handful of officers that are grandfathered in through their collective bargaining agreement and still get the full QUIN. We still offer very competitive educational incentives. The reality is, though, a lot of communities are going back to the full QUIN because recruiting is so tough. So I'm not saying that we won't be there eventually. We're just not right now. And when we do contract negotiations, we look at comps. Chelmsford is not typically one of them simply because it's a bigger community, the department's bigger, budgets are different. But we are very much in line with the communities that we consider are fair comps. Pepperell, Drake, we're very competitive with. Groton. We use Littleton, even though they've got a slightly bigger budget because they have municipal water. But we're not far off. We have work to do, and I think the last 2 contracts, this most recent one, got us a lot closer.
Now, do we do exit, do you ever attempt to do an exit interview? So I'm a cop, and I'm leaving Tyngsborough, and I'm gonna go and work in Waltham. Do you do an exit interview with me, or you just let me go?
Yeah. Yeah, and one of the things that I will say, we haven't lost an officer to another department in state in several years. I think the last time we lost an officer to another agency was to the state police. What we've seen, retirements, people leaving the state altogether, moving to Maine, moving out, far, far away, or leaving the profession altogether. That's another factor. But we do exit interviews. They're not mandatory, but we have pretty good participation. And we're not losing people to other agencies, particularly supervisors. I think all of our supervisors have been with us for at least 10 years, probably at this point.
I think exit interviews can be very valuable going forward.
Well, we had a little bit of a bump in the road in our police department, and that's all calmed down.
Yeah, absolutely.
The chief is working out, everybody's working together now.
Yeah.
Well,
Happy.
stop giving contracts.
Well, to back up Colin's point, I got a buddy who just celebrated his 25th year on the state police, and they have taken away Quinn-Bill, they have taken away a lot of things. He told me when he applied to be a state trooper, he was one of 18,000 that applied. He goes, just the last class they had less than 2,000 apply. Yeah. So that's what you're dealing with now. Whether it's,
why I asked. I was
money
curious
or
how
the danger of the job, or the way the job's looked at by some nowadays. So it all goes into it.
Well, the state police have an uphill curve to convince the public they're actually valuable.
No doubt.
Because it's just, they keep embarrassing themselves. And this guy who got fired over the trial with the texting, he wants his job back. And we all sit there looking, he's going to get his job back.
Sad, yeah. Paints a dark picture for a relatively,
Yeah,
lots of people that do the right thing.
but they can't
Only takes
get
one or two.
anybody to fill the
Hey, I'm going to
spot.
shut your
Right.
mics off for just I got like 3 or 4 announcements, not a lot of stuff.
Okay.
So your mics are off for a second. You can chit-chat over there for a second. Okay, coming up every Friday in lovely Lowell, Massachusetts, at 350A Dutton Street, there's a farmer's market, thanks to community teamwork. Starts at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, goes all afternoon long. There's some stuff they give games for the kids, but mostly there's good farmer's market every Friday on 350A Dutton Street. Moving right along, Coffee with a Cop in Tewksbury. It's coming up this week, August 8th from 7 a.m. to 10 at Donna's Donuts. That's an excellent location, very tasty donuts, very unique looking donuts over there. I love going to Donna's Donuts, so that's coming up August 8th. And the last one is the world famous Tyngsborough Block Party. And that's coming up pretty quick, August 23rd from 11 a.m. until dark. So that's my last announcement for the day. Going back to you, Lynn. Thank you.
And we're looking for more volunteers.
Yes.
And actually, I have to say, I had Allison on last week. It's a fun event to volunteer.
Yes.
So, if you're new to town, or if you're at a point that you can, it's a good thing to get involved with. You'll have a good time, and she's very, very efficient. And obviously, a good person to work for, because they keep coming back.
Yes.
Once she gets you in her groups, they all keep coming back, and it just keeps growing and growing, the volunteers. So that's a good sign.
Most people, it's hard to say no to.
Yeah.
Yes.
You need people like
Well,
that.
you try to keep up with her.
Yes.
She's just a,
Remarkable.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
energy level is really something, and she's here and she's there, and again, we had the town, we had the park now, and so drive by, or if anybody that was concerned about the golf course, it's a nice addition now. It was a bitter pill at the time, but this is a little.
So I saw driving by, there's like a walkway now, they put
Yeah.
in front of it, they go all the way through the whole grounds. Is that-
Yeah,
is that-
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really lovely. We got pickleball and, what was it, disc golf?
So
Have you played disc golf?
No, I'm dying
So
for regular
Danny,
golf.
you got no competition. You want to be mad next time around?
Yeah, it's just, it's one of those things where I've learned that it's just way too early to get into any of that stuff. I've enjoyed being the mayor. It's one of the great thrills that I've been able to do, but any talk about the future stuff, just leave it at that. So it's just the way it is. I answer the question. So I get asked all the time for some reason.
So my takeaway, you're not even thinking about it.
Not right now, no.
Understood, thanks.
Well, now how many seats have competition? I know
I think
this
that
one does here.
Myself, Councilor Chow, and Councilor Robinson do not have competition. So the other 5 district seats and obviously the at-large.
John up in the Highlands does.
Yeah,
Dakota.
he does. Yeah, he has 2. So there's a primary in the Highlands, there's a primary in the Acre, and a primary in Belvedere.
At the end of the month, this we're going to have the first Wednesday in September. We're going to have Steve Chamberlain back on to talk about. They're doing 50 Legs.
Yeah,
It's going to be Mickey's Charities. And John Dakota and his wife Pam is heading it up. So anybody that wants to get involved, and hopefully they'll get us some information so we can keep posting it here. I know Steve is coming in, so that's what they do with 50 Legs is amazing, particularly with children. So that's going to be a good event coming.
Yeah, he's a good guy too. I know him a little bit from. He's a couple years ahead of me in school. I think he was a vocational student. So. A couple run-ins here and there, right?
Yeah,
a good
but
guy.
he had a big, it's amazing what he's done with his life, I must say. So he did quite a tribute to Hulk Hogan, I noticed, on Facebook, and he was a big advocate and did a lot of fundraising for Steve. So I advertised that. I hope people will get involved with that and call Pam Dakota. So, anything else that we need to talk about? I don't want you all to go off and then, before I go off on some tangent here.
No, I think sometimes, no news is good news, as far as, whether it's to deal with, emergency services or, tax rates or things like that. We, again, like we talked about earlier, coming off of a couple of good weekends within the city, working at the courthouse, we have very few arrests over the Folk Festival weekend. Nothing major happened. And I think that goes into saying, when anybody that was there over those 3 days, everywhere you looked, you saw, the police department, the fire department, the national park, the rangers were all over the place. DPW was everywhere, always, switching out trash barrels and picking up, and so it was really, it's a well-run machine of how it gets done, and it pays off for us because we had a huge turnout this year, and I think a lot of bills were paid over the weekend for a lot of business owners.
How did you control the homeless?
So,
Because I didn't see
I can
it.
tell you where how I look at it is, and again, this is just anecdotal evidence. When you have events and when you have things going on, they just go somewhere else. And it's just
Too bad that couldn't happen all the time for you.
But it's just it's always the case. It's just it's just what happens. I don't know what the why or how or but that's just when you have large gatherings and people are around, it's just they're not they find somewhere else to go, and maybe because they just want to be alone or left alone. One of the projects that we are on that list is over at the South Common. They want to put an amphitheater in. They want to put housing over there. A play area. Some spots for maybe a couple of small businesses. It'd be a coffee shop or something like that. And that would encapsulate over at the South Common, right? And not move the school. That would stay there. But again, that's something that and then obviously you have the transportation right across the street. When I was driving here this morning, coming up, Fletcher over to Thorndike, I was surprised at how many people I saw walking to the train station. And there was more than a handful that were starting off back where the courthouse was, going all the way up to to the terminal. So we have to utilize that advantage that we have within the city, and having the train station right across the street from our place, right next door to housing, and I think is a goal that we all want to have, and that's where we're at this point in time, talking to these folks.
It doesn't seem to be the problem you were having like last year.
No, but it's driving by. I think Monday morning, there was some people there again. It wasn't anything like it used to be, but again, once the homeless go to a spot and no one, then they start to word gets out, and they all go to the same area. Then we have to get involved, and then they find somewhere else to go. And the sad part is, and I know I've said this to John a million times, is we always offer help. We always offer support first and foremost, and that's just once it's not taken. we have to keep the community safe.
What's happening to the two courthouses?
So the Hurd Street one is already, it's in our possession. The Superior Courthouse, I don't think we're gonna touch. It's just too large, voluminous of an area of a building. But the District Courthouse, we do have and do some plans put forth for housing over there.
Housing?
Yep. And that's, there's a parking lot right in the back.
Yeah.
There's the garage right across the street, so.
Parking, John, parking.
Well, the only thing is on the courthouse, if nobody wants it, tear it down. Don't turn it into a Smith Baker Center.
Well, it's not ours. We don't own it.
I understand,
Right,
but
yeah.
you tell the governor,
Yeah.
Ah, good on
let's
that.
not turn it into
Yeah.
the Smith Baker Center. The Smith Baker Center, it's gonna get torn down. But, oh no, we're gonna look at it again, tear it down, we need the parking. And the same thing with the courthouse. Tear it down, we need the parking. And that's my take. But anyway, this is from the audience. When's the first day of school in Lowell and in Tyngsborough? I mean, you can't know everything, but if you don't know, well, that's okay too.
What's the, John, what's the Wednesday before Labor Day? I think it's the 26th, 27th of August? It's the Wednesday before Labor Day weekend.
Okay. How about you, Colin?
Same.
Okay.
Wow, that's just around the corner. That's a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yikes. Ooh,
For the kids, the summer's over. For the
3
rest
weeks
of
from
us, we
today.
have plenty
Yep,
of
I know,
room.
yes.
That day.
oh boy, that flew by.
And in
Have-
Tyngsborough, of course, they'll be starting in the new middle school. It's
That's
totally
right.
complete. The old building's down now. There's still a lot of site work to be done around it, but
And now, I was asking someone, what's happening with the field? Now, they're gonna do
they're going to do a
a new
field.
right?
Yes. There will eventually be a softball field on the campus. I think there's still a discussion about whether or not the school project will fund the softball field or if the CPC will fund the softball field. It's an eligible CPC expense. The CPC money we have in our possession, the school project we're borrowing, so financially it really doesn't make sense to borrow the cost of a softball field for 30 years as opposed to use CPC. But it will depend on, if we use CPC, it's got to be open to everybody to use. It can't just be a school field. So I think there's still some debate about what type of use the schools will need.
Now, that property, the bar property, how far are they going to go into that?
There shouldn't be, the footprint of it should not change.
Okay,
It will look a lot different, obviously, but
Yeah.
it should not change the footprint.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That you were able to do that. So the other building's coming down
Already down,
already?
totally down. I mean, you could still tell the building was there. They got a lot
Yeah.
of site work to do, but
Wow,
yeah, that's
good for
totally
them.
down. Yeah.
Good for them. So that's pretty exciting for the people
Yes.
starting a new school. That will be,
John, somebody was watching, when we asked that question about school. So the first day of school, grades 1 through 12, is Tuesday, August 26th, and then the first day of kindergarten is, pre-K, I'm sorry, September 3rd.
Thank you.
thank you, Dan. It's probably the same in
Think we're
Tyngsborough.
watching, yeah.
Yeah, good, well done, Dan.
Hey, no,
Paying
me, that's
attention
right,
to that.
yeah. People watch.
Dan, the homeless issue. Is there any mindset amongst your colleagues to take advantage of the executive order? We can pull homeless off the sidewalk.
Yeah, so that was brought up, I think, at the last meeting, a meeting or two ago, as to how we can utilize that order that was put in place. We did, implement the last federal law that was put in about the homeless that gives us the right to remove them at any point in time, and we have done that numerous occasions, when, again, we talked about earlier, when a crowd starts to gather. Yeah, I think, I'm not sure which counselor it was, but they had asked to look into it to see, how we could use that to the benefit, again, not just of the city, but of the person, because there are all the time, police and fire come into the courthouse and they request evaluations on the members of the homeless community that pose a danger to themselves or to others. When we get back to the larger solution too is, the availability of treatment and the availability of beds for these patients. So, we're dealing with it on multiple levels, and it just makes it very difficult for the city to do their job, so.
Well, my friends who work at the sheriff's department tell me, off the record, don't say my name, I didn't tell you this, there's at least 600 empty cells out in Rourke.
Right, so, but that's for criminal behavior. This is
And you
civil
can say
crime.
that all you want, it's better than the sidewalk.
But John, you can't go to jail, man, if you don't do anything wrong.
You can convert it pretty easily. If the facility's standing there, it's water, the roofs has heat, and I just think we can convert.
Well, John, we have that right now available.
Yeah, well, okay, I understand you don't want to do it.
No, so, I mean.
We just move on, Dan.
Tewksbury State Hospital's been there for 100 years, right? Why can't we put them there?
We can't get the governor to get the refugees out of the
Yeah, but you see, the
conference center. I mean, come on, you think the governor's going to help
The governor's
them?
Achilles heel is channel 4, 5, and 7. She loves
was
the
it?
limelight.
What was that yellow house? What?
Well, that's
sorry.
a question for Colin, but you wanted to keep going.
Well, no, but John, you know,
That's the governor's
right.
Achilles heel. You call 4, 5, and 7, and she don't like that. She only watches TV news. She don't care what you think. So ask Colin about the Yellow House entertainment application.
Sure. The Yellow House is one of the 2 cannabis retailers in Tyngsborough. It's the new one that just opened across the street from the first one. They've applied for an entertainment license, which is under the jurisdiction of the select board, essentially to do food trucks, events at the location. The board opened the public hearing at their meeting last Monday, and they've continued it because the planning board didn't have a chance to comment. I have cautioned the select board that we don't have any entertainment licenses at any establishment that isn't an on-premise place. So right now, all of our entertainment licenses are at restaurants, they're at bars, they're at places where we expect people to gather for a long period of time. I don't have a vote on the entertainment application. I think I've expressed my concerns about what that will do for traffic, reducing parking. We've already received an inquiry from Nature's Remedy across the street about getting a license. Anytime one of them does anything, the other one is doing the complete same thing. So there are some traffic concerns, but more than that, I think it's creating a precedent that I'm not sure the board will want to create. When we did the zoning for retail marijuana, we anticipated you would show up, you'd pick up your product, and you would leave. And that's what the use was designed for. This whole gathering and now having food trucks and bingo, I don't think that I don't think it fits with what we were anticipating. And I think, the police department, the fire department, DPW have expressed concerns about what it will do for traffic. It's going to reduce parking. I'm also just not sure, generally speaking, that it is going to drive the type of business that I think they think it will. One of the ideas they talked about was bingo. I'm just not sure that you go there to play bingo and then say, oh, well, while I'm here, I'll go inside and buy my marijuana.
Is there a test that the Tyngsborough police use, or the Lowell police use, to prove that you're high on marijuana? Or it's just
no.
a guess? I'm going to guess you're too
Well,
high to be driving your car.
To be clear, nothing about this entertainment license would allow on-premise consumption of the marijuana products. We don't have social consumption in Tyngsborough. But there is a lot of question about if it's appropriate for that location. I think the board has heard those concerns. Ultimately, they'll vote at their next meeting, but I've made it clear that this would be the first time they'd grant a similar license. And the problem is, if they grant it to one, they have no reason to say no to the other. And so Yellow House had their grand opening in June. Nature's Remedy at the exact same time planned a customer appreciation event. So you had tons of traffic on both sides of the street. Mm-hmm. It really creates kind of, in my opinion, an unsafe environment. So we'll see how the board votes. It's their decision. But I think that there is a lot of concern widespread about what it will do.
I would hope. I would be surprised if the selectmen were to establish that precedent.
Well, looking at these marijuana parking lots, and you see, best example I can think of is right up here at Industrial Ave. They have a marijuana store up there. The guy on a motorcycle, sitting on his motorcycle, comes out of the store, and he's smoking a joint on the back of his motorcycle before he roars off. I just think that, what the hell's the matter with Massachusetts that they don't consider this? There's no test that I know of that the cops can have. The cops can't even prevent this guy from smoking his joint before he roars off the property on his motorcycle. Hey, God bless the guy. And I see people, I'm sure we all do, motoring by us with all their windows down, smoking their marijuana, and we just march it, but it's taxes, it's money.
That hasn't been an issue for us. The traffic has been a problem. But on the flip side, we're generating $1.3 million a year in local excise taxes, which has helped us do things like reduce the burden of the middle school debt on taxpayers. 75% of that goes directly to roads right off the bat. So we have certainly seen some positives, but it has to be managed properly, and
Yes.
I think that's what the question will be when the hearing is continued at their meeting on the 18th.
Completely off topic. Danny, the Bishop Markham Village, or whatever we want to call the thing, I'm getting complaints from many of the residents that it's a drug haven. They're selling drugs in the building, they're selling prostitutional services in the building, within the building, buildings. You hear anything about that stuff?
I have not, well, I do know, I know we have a satellite police station in one of the Bishop Markham buildings. The Housing Authority, I know, has a spot there as well. But as far as what you're telling me right now, I have not heard that. You do see, again, you talk about the gathering of the homeless. There'll be a Bishop Markham, there'll be the South Common, across the street over at Jerry's Food Market. Then it'll be where the Al Mello, the dedication stone, and that little Portuguese War memorial that's there as well. So, again, that's it. The burden that we, our police department, our city deals with is, once this, people decline assistance, we have to take action. So, but as far as those specific concerns, I have not heard that.
Well, guess you could, because when I hear from two different people in a week, thousands doing nothing about it, and I know that the guy down there, he's doing a good quality guy. I just don't, with all the rules and regulations that he has to wander through, the federal government's got to clamp down on this business of
Yeah, it's almost impossible to remove somebody from housing. It's very, very difficult.
trouble. Thank you.
That's unfortunate. So, well, anyway, going back, going back to the revisiting the marijuana, there has been a traffic issue there. There's no question about that.
Got one comment from the audience here, Linda, get it up on the screen here. The state loves the money from weed. Yes, we do. The one on Roger Street is a traffic nightmare. Yes, it is.
I think it's the only one locally in Lowell that has, I think, traffic issues, is that one. Obviously, it's in a very difficult spot, and there's a lot of commercial businesses surrounding it, so it probably leads to it. But I think there was the one, Cross Point, not too many traffic issues. I think the one right before Drum Hill, actually, I think is closing or up for sale. So we really haven't had too much of that other than Roger Street, which, we asked the company to put forward a different traffic pattern.
Yeah.
That, it was going to go through NUNCOG, it's going to go through the state, and hopefully a redesign will help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I know that Nature's Remedy, they were pretty good in getting police details. I don't know about the Yellow House, how they've cooperated. Whenever they, like holidays or things when you would expect people.
On the lighter side of things, great show today. With all the weed talk. Any donuts for us?
So I don't know how, if we have to do something, do we have to create an issue that they have? Because it's becoming, the two of them, I know that they're not supposed to take a left turn, they're not,
Yeah.
but they do.
It seems like with a Nature Remedy one, just my driving by it is once you pull in, you have to park. There's nowhere to go, right? So it's
Right.
Yeah.
across the street, at least you could go down a little bit and move around.
Yeah.
But the Nature Remedy one seems like as soon as you pull in, where do you go, right? You just
Yeah.
get a spot and get out. So,
That's
but yeah, there's always a cops there, always there.
Yeah,
And Nature's Remedy has hired, part of their traffic mitigation plan, they've hired a security company, which depends on who is there. Sometimes you see the guy is sitting in the little weird booth that they have and not helping, but yesterday I drove by, the parking lot was full, and the guy was turning people away because what we have happen a lot of times Thursday nights, Friday nights, is people will queue up in that right travel lane to take a right into the parking lot, and there's been times where it's gone past the car wash. It's gone even further. So the security guards are supposed to tell people to keep moving. It's not a perfect, and people find a way around. I mean, yesterday I watched somebody take a right immediately and then bang left right into the Bahama Breeze parking
yeah,
lot,
they do that a lot.
which is just as dangerous because they're just all of a sudden now stopping and taking left. So it's not perfect. They do hire details when they have sales.
Can't get stupid, you know.
No, well, that's part of the problem. That's really part of the problem.
Yeah, you know, it's the people driving. Now, have you had any problems with the casino?
You know, not really. We've had more medical responses to the casino.
Oh.
Which is not something we anticipated. We anticipated there'd be more police problems. I think the concern was that because the parking lot was in Tyngsborough.
They have Big Mac attacks when they move?
Yeah, I guess. So that's been it, but it's really been minimal. It's not anything.
Not the
super
traffic. I
problematic.
haven't
No, the
noticed
traffic has
any
not been
traffic
bad.
at all.
No.
Does the town get the tax benefit of that?
No.
No, it's all in
The only
traffic.
thing,
Pocket
We just
just the parking lot.
That's so horrible.
Yeah. Fortunately, most of them are leaving directly onto Route 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been bad. The first few weeks there was a little bit of traffic, but it hasn't been what people thought it would be.
I wonder if it's bringing any business into that mall, because that was struggling.
Well, I think one of the things that we have seen, and this is not scientific, but our meals tax has increased quite dramatically since the casino
They come
opened.
down to eat.
I think people are going to the casino and then going across the Tavern in the Square to Epigram. So I think there's probably been a nominal benefit, but nothing
What
dramatic.
about Smoky Bones? Where are they in limbo or what?
I think they've really suffered since Tavern in the Square opened. I
Yeah.
think when they first opened, people kind of assumed, okay, Tavern in the Square will get old and people will go back to their, but it hasn't. I mean, Tavern in the Square is constantly busy. I mean, Smoky Bones has rebounded a little bit, but I certainly don't think that they're where
Yeah.
they used to be.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. But if they are, like Bahama Breeze, it would be nice to get a real flourishing
Yeah.
business in there. Which you can't say to people you have to leave, but
Right.
Right.
anyway. So, but I'm interested that they're going to have some more restaurants
Yeah.
in the. So that'll be. We have an Indian restaurant. Don't we have an Indian restaurant?
At Pondview.
Yeah.
And that one's been doing pretty well. That location, really, I mean, there was an Indian restaurant that opened there, I think, in 2019, and it lasted only a few weeks.
Yeah.
They've a few times tried to put something there. This one has been open now for probably 6 or 7 months,
Yeah.
and still seems to have a handful of cars there every day. So
Yeah, it's well, it was an Italian restaurant for so
Yes.
long. It was high. And what about the place attached? Right? Is it something for the kids or something? I've never actually been in there.
it's been closed. That's been closed for quite a bit of time. The only real open businesses in that portion of Pondview is the Thai place, Thai Delicacy, which has been there for
Yeah.
4 or 5 years. There's a like a game store. They sell cards and games.
Oh, okay.
And then there's the Indian restaurant. The arcade type place has been closed now probably for 3 years.
Okay, because.
And there's a car dealership. I forgot about the car dealership all the time.
So that means that those cars were all at the restaurants. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, they're
So
doing well.
It's kind of an interesting thing, but that restaurant has had several turnovers.
Yes.
So and then the pizza place is still closed, right? Down
266.
Yeah, 266.
Yes, but actually, the select board at their meeting on August 18th will be considering a common vic and beer and wine license for it. So there's somebody
Okay.
who's interested in bringing it back.
Did it have a beer and wine license before?
It did not.
I didn't think so.
No.
That's interesting. That would be nice in the center of town.
Yeah.
Do something with it. And then we have the ones by Sullivan's.
Yes.
And that's fully occupied, isn't it? No?
Yes. There's the pet grooming place in there, the furniture store.
That's very successful.
Yes. Yeah. That whole parking lot
There's
is
a
very
new
busy.
restaurant in there too, right? Recently? Where the liquor store is right next door to them?
Yes, Mommy Luz has been
Yeah,
there
it's- yeah.
probably 2 years now, but they're still doing incredibly
Right, yeah.
well
Yes.
as well.
Great
They
martinis.
have a very loyal following.
Yes. Absolutely.
We've been there.
Excellent martinis.
Yes.
Good espresso martinis, actually. So I think Tyngsborough is doing well. Watch out, Tewksbury.
Oh, yes, that's correct. 440 also there'll be a chicken place there. That's another one of the public hearings that the select board will
Oh, really?
have on the 18th. My understanding is that it's the same people that own Augusta's in Billerica.
Okay. So would that be going to where the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Dunkin' Donuts, that building, or
No,
is
I'm
that?
not totally sure which. I'm not sure which unit it'll be in.
Because I didn't know, because that's a separate building, isn't it? That's a separate
Correct.
building
That's-
from the
yeah.
others. So, yeah, it's interesting, I've watched how that whole project is developing. One of the worst things Tyngsborough ever did was not give Trader Joe's a wine, beer and wine. Very unfortunate,
It's odd, huh?
because then they just hopped over the line.
Yeah.
And that whole mall kind of collapsed behind it. TJ Maxx left, and it was a disaster. Unfortunately, that happens. You know that in Lowell. You see how certain.
I was thinking about, if you can cater to that 18 to 22 crowd, like, Dave's Hot Chicken and the Carver places, I mean, they're always, my kids are there all the time, and it's not cheap either, right? So, it's sort of 440 chicken place. If it's something like that, get ready, because it's, you drive out those places and they are just jammed all the time.
And it would be very accessible. It's a good location.
Yeah.
Actually, that's
Easy,
a good
right?
location.
Yeah.
That whole area, I mean, should be successful. I just, again, across the street, now that that's getting a facelift, I think you'll see the rest of the area do.
We get two angles, right, with the cinema and Tavern
Yeah.
Square, so.
Yeah. So
bad.
that will work out well. Well, I hope, anything coming up on the city council that we need to know?
No, actually, we'll meet next Tuesday for the first time in August, and again, with the 3-week break, I'm sure it'll be a lengthy agenda. We have a number of public hearings that are going to be on. I'm sure there'll be, double-digit motions as well, so, just take it as it comes
No
and
issue.
move on from there, yeah.
Huh?
I could do it real quick, and then I'm gonna ask Danny about the folk festival. Tomorrow, Evelyn Thorne's gonna be here, and attorney Sandra Meneses is gonna be here. That's tomorrow, City Life. And then great show today, thanks to the guest for getting up early and coming in. Another great hosting job by Linda, that's from Bart.
Thank you.
Sam Chase is not gonna be here tomorrow, he's got something going on. And then Bobby Hoey's in the hospital. Bobby Hoey called me on the phone last night, so he sounds, first time I talked to Bobby in a little bit, and it was nice to see on caller ID. And
That's excellent
chit-chat,
news.
so he's going in a very good direction. Thank you for all your prayers. Please continue to pray for Bobby. So, Danny, on the folk festival, it looked I didn't go down, it looked fabulous on TV. You were down there all over the place.
Yeah, it was really,
Looked like better than ever.
we go down on Friday nights usually, and this was the busiest Friday night that I've seen in a long, long time. Again, the weather on Friday and Saturday were just,
Scorching.
it was 75, 80, but, the humidity was low. Saturday, April and I went down early. Obviously, want to get to the Polish stand for the pierogies, right? So we get down there, and of course, we saw Council Mercy, her bags ready to,
Yeah.
at 11 o'clock, 11:15, and there was already lines at the food tents, and it was just, packed all day and all night long. And, I was telling Linda and Colin during your announcements that the police, nothing major, no major events, a few arrests here and there for a couple of knuckleheads, but other than that, it was really, really well done. And people, the businesses I spoke with, I talked to the coffee shop, Brew Awakenings, and the coffee mill. Spoke to, obviously Teddy over at the Athenian. They all said that they blasted out last year's numbers. The estimated total from last year, they guess 85 to 90,000 people. We had some rain on Saturday in last year's event. This year, they estimate 130,000 people came through over the 3 days.
With the rain on Saturday, I didn't think they'd relight the thing, but oh my God.
Yeah,
I
I
looked
mean,
at the afternoon was
Sunday
jammed.
afternoon, it was the Market Street, was packed, and JFK was packed. So, again, I think, as I said earlier to Linda, I think a lot of bills were paid that weekend. So, which is great. It's like, if you, put on a good show, you serve a good meal for Festival weekend, I have people coming back again, and, they see Lowell. It's only a good thing.
Beautiful, congratulations.
Thank you.
The food is a huge success because people were coming by and talking about the food.
Now, food, Colin, your block party, we're gonna have food?
Absolutely. I think there's 10 food trucks, and then a handful of booths that are set up for food.
Nice.
Lots
Okay.
of food.
Good, we'll get ready
And
for
2 alcohol areas for those
Based on
interested.
Lowell's crowd, you guys are gonna get
It's
maxed
great.
out that day.
That's the interesting thing, that we have 2 alcohol areas.
Yes.
And they have a dance area. Are they having a dance? Is there a dance area?
There are 2 performance areas.
The groups they've had in the past have been excellent.
Yes, yeah.
very entertaining. So down on the corner where the people selling things are going to be, I assume.
Yep.
Are they having the petting zoo again? I didn't even
Yes,
ask
I
about
believe
that.
so. Yeah.
Oh, and I have to, when you walked, did you notice the fairy gardens in the park?
I did. It's funny. Yes, they're in several different places. They're fantastic. Another unique thing that I would never have thought of doing,
Yeah.
but Allison and her volunteers, of course, did.
It's just amazing. Kids love them, and it's delightful to
Yeah.
see them. So all along that walk there, they've put together these little fairy gardens, and the kids must enjoy it, so that they get to put them out there.
60 seconds.
Well, I want to thank you
Oh,
both
thank
for
you.
getting
Yeah,
up.
thank
I
you.
appreciate it, coming all the way, and quite a way to start your day, Colin, but thank you very much, and Dan, always.
Well, best luck this
And-
weekend in Tyngsborough. Hopefully it works out well.
Yeah, we're moving right along.
Too, right? So,
Yes.
yeah.
So, thank you for watching, and I guess I'll see you next Wednesday.
And we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.